Everyone. So today I'm going to share with you the third part of the engineering materials. So at the beginning of this part, I let you know the instructional objective that at the end of this study, you should be able to describe engineering materials, identify different type of engineering material, understand the application of different engineering materials. As well, we introduce you to engineering material that anything that's all living things and non-living things, they are created from ore. They are emanated from the ore and refined and used. After usage, they go back to the ore if they are not recyclable. And materials, selection of material depend on professional factors and applications. And I show you the total material cycle, how they generated from the ore, from the hard cross, go round, back to the hard cross or recycle here. And also, we discuss about the classification of engineering material based on the engineering field, classification of engineering material based on types and composition of the materials, and we discuss about the different engineering material that we have, like metal, ceramic, plastic, biomaterial, advanced material in the previous lesson. So today we're going to talk about the factors affecting material property. Factor affecting material properties. So the following property affecting the materials. Number one of it is heat treatment. Heat treatment that involve the hardening, annealing, and normalizing. So if you have your metal you want to work on it, maybe when you buy it raw in the market, it's very hard to cut, to machine. It's very hard, so you can subject it to annealing by softening heat. You soften the material, and as well if the material is very softened and where you want to use it for, you need it to be hardened. So you subject it to the hardening, so that the heat treatment can be referred to as the alteration of microstructure of metals to change the characteristics of metals, either to be hardened, either to be softened, and also you can normalize the materials with the heat treatment. So after the heat treatment, another factor that affects material property is the processing. So materials, any material can be hot working or cold working. So based on hot working and cold working, processing, the material property do change. They change. So what is meant by hot working is that all the practical exercise that involve heat in the workshop, they are referred to as hot working, like a wedding. Wedding is hot working, foundry is a hot working, forging is hot working. So anything that involves the inducement, the application of heat on metal or any material, they are referred to as hot working. Any operation that demand heating they are referred to as hot working. And also the cold working is the work you carry out, operation you carry out in the workshop that does not require heat at all. They are cold working. Example of it is that when you are cutting your metal with a hacksaw, hand hacksaw, that one doesn't involve hot working at all. There is a cold working. You don't need heat at all. And also environmental reaction affects the material's property. What is meant by environmental reaction is how the environment induces changes on the material you are using to produce anything in the workshop. Example of it is a rusting of steel. So the steel used to rust, they used to corrode. So due to the environmental reaction, that is why majority of the equipment or the apparatus in the laboratory, especially chemistry laboratory, they are made up of stainless material, because the stainless steel, have potential, have barrier against rusting. So rusting is one of the environmental reaction that affects the property of the material. And also disacidification of brass. So brass is an alloy of copper and zinc. Is an alloy of copper and zinc. So in a situation whereby you place your brass into you place it outside the environment that too rusty, that too corrode, definitely the zinc we get out of the brass, it will react with the environment, because the reaction rate of zinc is more than copper. So the zinc can easily react with environmental here and leave the copper halo. So that is the acidification of brass. And also the degradation of plastic is another environmental factors that duly affect the plastic. No matter how you keep your plastic in a safe place, definitely when it reach the end of its life cycle, it will degrade. So all human beings, all things that we have physically in this life, as they have a production day, they also have a expiry date. So that is what applicable to the degradation of plastic. We human beings as well, we degrade. All material, they are degraded due to the environmental reaction, the rust, the disintegrate, and so on and so forth. So and as well, factor that affecting is availability of the materials. So if your material is readily available, definitely you'll be able to sell it. The selection of materials. If you want to produce any apparatus in the workshop, maybe lens holder, pin holder, retort stand, optical bench, what are the factors that determine the selection of material? Number one of it is availability of materials. So materials will be available before you before you select any material. If you want to use like metal for the production, if the metal is not available, you look for alternative material that can be used. And also manufacturing processes is part of the factor that determine the selection of material. Manufacturing processes like plasticity, malleability, machinability, and weathability, among others. These are the manufacturing processes, among others, that you have to consider before you select your material for production of apparatus or maintenance of apparatus. Likewise, functional requirements. Functional requirements is the purpose you want to use apparatus for. Apparatus you want to produce, maybe lens holder or the hook slow apparatus or optical bench. The purpose you want to use it for to demonstrate practical is functional requirement. So under that one, we have aesthetic look. How you want it? You want it to be look beautiful, the hardness, fatigue, or electrical treatment, or heat conductivity. So the functional requirement also very, very important when you want to select your material. And also the next one is a cost consideration. What is the cost consideration of the material you want to use? Is it too expensive or less expensive? You have to put it in your quotation. That is raw material processing, inspection, and manpower. You have to consider all these factors under the cost consideration. And also the last one is operating parameters. What are the parameters you are looking for in the material you want to use? Is it to have a good conduction of electricity or heat, that is temperature, or corrosion requirements? So maybe the material or the project you want to fabricate, you want to produce, you want it to have a corrosion resistant. You want it to be corrosion resistant, so it's part of operating parameter. You have to look for the metal that have high corrosion resistance. And also weathering, it is in relation to the environment, and biological effect as well. So all these they are factors affecting selection of materials. Next is the failure of materials. All materials do fail. Even we human beings will fail. So a failure, according to Corrosionpedia, is a breakdown of an object such as metal, concrete, and plastic due to various factors that affect the strength, stability, and chemical composition of the object structures. So all material structures do fail. They do fail. So type of failure modes involve fatigue failure, wear failure, corrosion failure, and creep failure. So if any house or structure are built with substandard material, definitely they are going to fail. If at all they build with a standard material, there's a lifespan for all structures. Or the material used to fail, no matter how quality it is when it reach the complete its life cycle. What are the causes of material failure? All materials are bound to fail due to the following causes. Number one, incorrect materials processing, incorrect manufacturing procedures, incorrect selection and use of materials, corrosion, erosion, fatigue, stress, cavitation, and foreign objects damage. So all these, they are the causes of the material failure. They are causes of material failure. There's no material that cannot fail, but these are the causes of it. Also, there's no way we talk about engineering material, we not talk about how to test for the material. So classification of material testing. Testing of material broadly classified into two, that is destructive and non-destructive testing. Destructive and non-destructive testing. So mechanical testing involves tensile test, wear test, hardness test, impact, fatigue, and testing. That's all this one, they are referred to as mechanical testing. And also we have corrosion resistant testing. So any material they want to use for any structure, they take a sample of it and they subject it to mechanical testing to test for the wear rate of it, the hardness of it, tensile test of it, impact and fatigue of it. Likewise, corrosion resistant test. So there's any material, any object, any apparatus, any devices they want to use in a corrosion environment or in anywhere, they usually test it. They usually test for its corrosion resistance. So that one is involve salt spray, immersion, and CAS exposure. So for corrosion resistant test. And also the next one is the metallography testing and analysis to test for the composition of material in a metal or in a material. This is a metallographic testing analysis. The next one is electromagnetic testing. Electromagnetic testing, so that one is electromagnetic induction. This one, if you want to test, want to use any material for electromagnetic applications, you have to test whether the material have the property or have the capacity for the purpose. And the next one is a fractography. Fractography, that's same and term. So all this one to test for the position of the microstructure in the material. And the last one here is environmental testing. Environmental testing, the behavior of the material outside, whether the rate it will react to the environment, and many other more. So all this one, they are the classifications of material testing. So any material you want to use for your production of any apparatus or in any company or any production, anywhere, you are bound to test them appropriately to discover whether it's viable to use for the production you want to use it for. And also, let us talk about the equipment for material testing. Equipment for material testing. So reliability, functionality, and failure of material can be dictated by the following equipment. Number one, scanning electron microscope. It is a microscope used to scan the material. The next one is elemental dispersive X-ray. They use also to determine, to scan the material. X-ray diffraction, Fourier transformer infrared, optical light microscopy with digitalized imaging, electrochemical impedance spectroscope, and chemical analysis. So all these, they are the equipment used for material testing in engineering or sciences. So thank you very much. This is the end of engineering material based on your academic level and instructional objective for this course. Thank you all. I'm ready for the assessment. And also I will add more material to you, YouTube link, PDF, and other resources that will facilitate your learning for this topic and the rest of the workshop practice. Thank you for your listening.